Hi everyone, welcome back to the Okwe John show, and today I wanted to do a second part to my budgeting video, and today I wanted to specifically talk about savings. Now, the saving strategy that I advocate or tend to preach, permit me to say the word preach, is the Joseph strategy. And what does the Joseph strategy means? It means we save up minimum of 20% of what we earn, and we aim to grow that percentage as time goes on. Just to give you a bit of background to that strategy, the life we live in, we tend to go through different seasons. Life is in seasons. There's seasons of abundance and there's seasons of scarcity. In seasons of abundance, those are times when things tend to be very comfortable for us. We find ourselves in a place of comfort where we can afford, quite a bit of luxury, quite a lot of luxuries. In this season, the recommendation is you save up as much as you can in preparation for times of recession like this, when there's things like cost of living crisis or even just when, redundancies, because unfortunately, these are things that we hope never happen to us, but these things happen anyway. They happen to the best of people. So, the whole point is prepare for those seasons when, maybe we just don't have as much liquidity or as much cash flow. How do I build the discipline around getting myself on the Joseph strategy? The first thing is knowing what you're spending your money on and finding places that you can make savings. The second thing is treating your savings as though it's where after giving is the next thing on my budgeting list, because this is where I pay myself. This is what I put aside for my own self out of my month's worth of work to say thank you to myself for working so hard. So, I put this up as priority. And number 3 thing as well to do is make sure that you put your money away where it's not so easily accessible. There are 3 types of savings. I allocate my savings according to this. So I call them, the first is the short-term savings. So this is, I always recommend everyone has an emergency fund saved up. So that is, I would recommend in the economy that we're in, I would say save up at least 1,500 that you have aside. So that is to cover the cost of things like, your car breaks down, or maybe there's a leak in the house that needs to be fixed and you don't have the money to do it from your day-to-day spending. You've got that to draw down from, and of course the aim is to get it back up again to that 1,500 when you spent out of it, but at least it's there. Then and of course, say for example, another short-term savings will be things like holidays. Say for example, we're planning to go on holiday in the next 6 months. I shouldn't be acting like that holiday isn't happening. I should really start putting money aside for that holiday. It shouldn't hit me as a surprise. Same thing as Christmas as well. A lot of times we act like we don't know Christmas comes up every year. Christmas is a time when we give and we spend a lot of money. It's always wise to put something aside. So I call these short-term savings. Then the next one is mid-term savings. Now this is when you're saving for things like life events, a wedding. You could be saving towards a house or saving towards home renovation, something like that. Like I said in my previous budgeting video, at times like this you might need to get a bit more aggressive with your savings and actually cut back on things like your wants. Scale back on maybe fancy dinners and things like that, or even going out and substitute that for and put a lot more money away. Then the third one is your long-term savings. This is saving towards your retirement when you eventually can't work. I really, really recommend people use a pension. Please make sure you have a pension. It's you get tax savings from doing it now, from putting money away in a pension, and of course you get your employers contributing towards it. It's a nice way to get some free money from your employers, so please, why not use it? So please don't act like retirement is not coming. It's coming, and the best thing to do is to plan towards it. So now let's set you a challenge if you've never saved before. Aim to start saving minimum of 5% of your earnings. I know some of you are watching me right now, you're thinking, okay, you're crazy, you don't even know what my finances are like. I'll tell you where you can find the 5% in your spending at the moment. Start with your subscriptions. A lot of times we have lots of subscriptions that we pay for that aren't actually essentials. There are things that, they're nicer, and sometimes making lifestyle changes isn't a bad thing. I'll give an example. I used to pay about £100 for my gym membership once upon a time. But after having a baby and my life changed, I've had to cut back on that. I've had to give up that gym membership for something cheaper. Just because I just don't think it's financially wise for me to spend about £100 on gym subscription at this point in my life. Other place as well is probably cut back on your wants. For example, fancy dinners. You can cut back on fancy dinners and find more creative ways to have fun without spending so much. Another place that I found actually a lot of people can actually make savings is saving on alcohol spend. I hear water is very good for the body. You can substitute alcohol for water. It's not such a bad thing. Water does your body a lot of good. So there are lots of places that you can make savings and actually hit that 5% savings target. And I promise you one thing, seeing that balance growing every month, it gives you a feeling of satisfaction, and you find that you've actually been able to challenge yourself in a way that you've never done before. And the moment you see that amount, you go from 0 to 100, 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000, you find you're more motivated to actually do more, and you find yourself actually saving a lot more than the 20% that the Joseph strategy recommends. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please subscribe so you're one of the first people to know when the next video drops.